Really? You gotta be kidding me.
We got a real dealer quote from a gentleman in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's interested in a Dodge Hornet. I want to ask you, what do you think the dealer discount is on a Dodge Hornet right now, living in the great state of Nevada in Las Vegas, trying to purchase a Dodge Hornet? What do you think the dealer discount is?
I'm going to guess that the dealer discount, because dealers in Las Vegas are, I think the terminology is greedy AF. So I'm going to say the dealer discount was like $1,500.
So you think 1,500? Let's get a few guesses in the chat. I will share this. We'll get another guess from my dad in a second. That is way too high. It is not $1,500. Not $1,500. And to set this one up, the Dodge Hornet is the slowest selling car in the United States of America.
Yes.
It has the highest market day supply. I will tell you, Dad, that this has been sitting on this dealer's lot for 175 days. And in their market area, there is supposedly an 1,100 days supply of this type of Dodge Hornet.
Then they have no need to sell it yet because they know they've got plenty of time. They know they still have like 1,000 days in order to be able to sell this. I mean, to take a short deal now would be, almost sacrilegious.
So we're getting really interesting guesses in the chat. Thomas saying they only discounted $100. Michael saying $750. We even had a guest ad of sticker. I cannot believe what I'm about to show you. When you add in the accessories, gang, this is a $170 over MSRP deal on a Dodge Hornet in today's market. Can you believe what you're seeing here, Dad?
Well, come on. They discounted it $3,600. Come on. Between rebate and discount, the fact that there was $3,770 worth of dealer installed accessories. What does that show you? It shows you that they are not interested in selling them. That's what it shows you. That it shows me that there's a new car manager that doesn't really track his inventory, that doesn't understand inventory management. My guess is if they sell it and there's an 1,100 day supply of Hornets in the Vegas area, if they were to sell it, they would probably earn an allocation of 2 more.
They don't even want those.
Yeah, it probably is not sell it and earn 1 in the turn and earn system. There, it's probably sell it and earn 2 or 3, because it would be, well, here's a dealer that knows how to sell these. But my point is, they really should be doing some real inventory management there. Take a look at the day supply and move on from it. It is painfully obvious that the American public didn't ask for this car. The American public doesn't have any interest in this vehicle. And if you come across somebody who is expressing an interest in it, the likelihood of there being a second person somewhere down the line is pretty remote. So just figure out how to sell the damn car.
Dad, I'm going to pull up the vehicle detail page back on CarEdge.com. You can obviously see our target discount. And then interestingly, 175 days on the market. The thing that gets me off here is this. There's 26 of these for sale within 100 miles of Las Vegas, but only one of those have sold in the last 45 days.
Yeah, well, and the dealer that sold that one probably had 5 allocated for having sold that one.
All right, folks. This one actually isn't that much of a surprise, but for the segment, Auto Market Weekly Summary. Let's go all the way down, Dad. Bear with me. Auto loan performance deteriorated in December. Good alliteration right there. The really, you got to be kidding me here, Dad. Are these 3 paragraphs. Auto loan performance deteriorated in December as delinquencies and defaults increased. Delinquencies of 60 days or more increased for the 8th straight month in a row. I think that's a trend. And we're up 8.5% year over year. In December, 1.97% of auto loans were severely delinquent, up from 1.92% in November, the highest rate dating back to at least 2006. November was also the highest rate dating back to 2006. So we're just setting new records. We've been setting new records for 8 straight months.
Yes.
7.7% of subprime loans were severely delinquent. That was up from 7.53% in November. And again, the highest dating back to at least 2006, and the highest since last month when it was a little bit lower. The really got to be kidding me here, Dad, is everyone should have seen this coming. There was an auto loan crisis, There's not enough repo men and women out there to pick up all those defaulted on car loans and vehicles. Really sad stuff to see, but the data month in and month out tells the exact same story.
which is another reason why we need to encourage people to get into cars they can actually afford to make their payments on. Um, and for the vast majority of people, for the 83% of the population that says they can't afford to buy a new car, well, perhaps you could if that new car was priced anywhere from 17.5 to 29.9. Then you could, and there are vehicles that fall into that category, and those are the vehicles that you need to shop, and that is what will allow us to get more of those vehicles built. um it is the American way of life is to always spend more than what we should and more than what we know we can afford, um, to push ourselves to stretch for things. This might really be the time where you take a close look at yourself and your financial situation in the mirror and go, not a good time to stretch. Not when interest rates are as high as they are, not when my trade value is falling as much as it's falling. Now's not the time to stretch. When mortgage rates were 2.5, 3%, good time to stretch. When mortgage rates are 7%, not as good a time to stretch. When auto loans were 0%, or point 0.9, you can stretch, baby, because you're not paying much in interest. When your average used car loan is 14%, your money ain't stretching as far as you'd like it to. Not a good time to stretch. This is the time. I almost feel like Dave Ramsey here. This is the time
Yeah.
for you to do your best to be happy living within your means. I know I know for most Americans that is a foreign concept because we are bombarded with advertising everywhere we look, and the advertising is for all those wonderful things in life that are, I mean, like, here, cell phones all the time. You get by how you my brother's got a flip phone, damn it, a flip phone. We're just proud that he finally got a phone, but the point, I think he bought the phone for like 40 or 50 bucks. It does what you need a cell phone to do. You don't need Many of us do not need, say, a one of those Galaxy Fold phones or a Google folding. We don't need to carry in our pocket an $1,800 cell phone, because that $1,800 cell phone just does calls like the other ones. Of course, it's smarter because it's a smartphone.
I got to call you out though, Dad, because everyone in the chat needs to know you were a phablet guy. I mean, you were fast on the phablet train when that thing was going through the station. You were a phone tablet fanatic in the early days. So I mean, you just to dose your own medicine. Like, yes, we
Yes.
need what's in our means, but also you had a phablet, and I think we should create some space to acknowledge that.
Well, thank you for reminding me and letting the world know, that yes, even I fall prey to advertising and the fear of missing out, you know. But I also find myself in a position that I can afford this nonsense. And I don't often, and what's the one thing that I can't really seem to control myself on?
Italian food,
Something that I wear on my wrist.
Mexican food.
Yes, yes, because I drop a lot of it on my wrist, especially when I'm looking at what time it is. Uh, I mean, my thing is watches,
For sure.
cheap watches, but watches. Um, but I'm 72 years old. I've socked
No,
some
you're
money
good.
away
You're
over
good. You're
time.
good. No, I was just pulling your leg because I think phablets are funny. I think your points are spot on and well received by our community. I really, really do. I think more people need to listen to that voice inside themselves and buy into it. And Gold Coast carjacking thwarted after suspects fail to operate manual transmission. The victim was sitting inside his Audi sedan when two armed men entered his vehicle. We're not going to go any further than this first sentence. In an
Yes.
attempted carjacking Tuesday night on the Gold Coast of Chicago, it was foiled because the suspects didn't know how to operate the vehicle's manual transmission. Chicago police said, "Learn to drive a manual, folks. For goodness sakes, if you're going to go carjack someone, you might need to know."
Yeah. Do you know how to drive a manual?
But I also don't
Ki-
do carjacking, so
You do not. May I share a story with you? When
please.
I was in high school, we actually had driver education classes. Literally, we had driver education teachers. We had, I think it was 2 or 3 Fords of some kind, that they would take you out and you would drive. You would learn how to drive. You'd learn the rules of the road and everything else. And my birthday falls the end of May. I got my driver's license during summer break. It came back in the fall. And guess what? It was time for me to take driver's ed. Okay. And they assumed that because I already had a driver's license, that I could drive a stick. I could not, but that's what they had me in. Some type of Ford with
Did
a
you learn
three
on the
on the
fly?
tree.
What'd you do?
Yeah, it was a 3 on the tree. It had 3 gears. Um, didn't have a hydraulic clutch. My God, if you wanted to develop your legs back in the late '60s or early '70s, drive a vehicle without a hydraulic clutch. And I remember stalling out in the middle of a busy intersection. It is it's it it scared the crap out of me. I mean, I nearly pooped myself when the car stalled literally on Woodland Avenue and the Baltimore Pike in Springfield, Pennsylvania. It is a high traffic area. Scared the hell out of my driver's ed teacher. But they did successfully teach me how to drive a stick.
Wow.
And everybody should know, even you, everybody needs to know how to drive a manual transmission vehicle just in case of an emergency, not for carjacking purposes, but but the good thing is obviously in the Chicagoland area that they don't teach young people how to drive manual transmission vehicles. So if you want to prevent a carjacking in the future, always buy a manual transmission vehicle.
Well
There's
said, and I
there's
love
my
getting those
story.
stories. I hate to say it, but we've dated you now twice today on the show with that story about the 3 on the tree and the fact that you sold trucks without window stickers before it was federally mandated for window
What can I
stickers.
tell you?